Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mediak. And this week, I'm going to be reviewing a movie from an old Alien franchise that just so happened to not be releasing a bunch of the best movies over the last probably decade. So they decided to go for a more lower budget kind of feel and ended up making a really great movie. Now, that joke might go over a handful of people's heads because a lot of people I know don't even know about Prey, let alone know that it's part of the Predator universe. But I guess that joke aside, I'm going to be reviewing Alien Romulus because about 2 weeks ago, whenever I got my wisdom teeth taken out, me and my girlfriend decided to go see that as something to do to get out of the house, and I loved it. It was a very good movie. Whenever we first saw the trailer, one of the things that was kind of really obvious to us was who the robot was. But that was something that I was kind of really excited that the movie didn't really beat around the bush to try and show. And it's honestly a pretty big plot point that that character is the robot. We were mainly making a joke about it because in the first movie, it was revealed that, was his name, Ash, was a robot. So I just figured that they were going to try and make it some sort of secretive thing. And not gonna lie, I actually had insanely low expectations going into Romulus because I'm not exactly a fan of the Alien franchise. I think that the first one and the second one are really good, and I honestly hate, excuse me, everything about the other movies. How many are there? There's Alien like Resurrection or something, or maybe that's the Matrix movies, but then there's Prometheus and Covenant. I don't know, bad movies all around. I honestly really hate the Prometheus lore. I think like everything related to how the alien creatures were made and all of that information is really poor. I don't know. I feel like it could have been handled a lot better in a different franchise with a more consistent team of writers instead of jumping from one team to another team to another team to another team to make this franchise, because it feels disjointed and bad. But I guess me bringing up all of that is to say that I honestly didn't mind any of the lore that they added to or worked off of in this movie. I thought that it was all handled pretty well. And I think that's mainly because the creators of this movie had a love for the originals and wanted to create something more akin to the originals. And you can tell that with like the old new technology that they have throughout the movie. It's basically identical to the first two movies, even though it is in the future. They're still kind of like from the past in some kind of way. It doesn't have any sort of disconnect between the first and Alien Romulus because they're supposed to be around the same time. I think not even a year after one another, because the Romulus ship is supposed to be like a sister ship or a brother ship to the one from the first Alien movie. And you can see that with, I guess this is the first big spoiler of the review, but with Rook, whenever you see him in the big reveal that he is like a brother robot to Ash. Now that I'm on that, I would like to add that the Rook CG looked horrible in the first scene that he was in, but progressively got better as the movie went on to the point in which I wasn't complaining about it. But like at that rate, why make the reveal look like dog shit and then the rest of the movie look completely fine? I feel like the reveal is going to be the most important part, the thing that people remember the most, and you probably should be making that look the best rather than the rest of the movie. My girlfriend brought up the point like, oh, maybe it was because he was on the screen, that's why he looked good. But there were multiple points throughout the movie after the first time we saw him in which we see him just from the camera's point of view, and he looks good. He just doesn't look, he looked really bad in the first scene with him. He was super glossy and shiny and just looked like a CG creature who was not a fan of that. I guess I should actually like talk about, I'm not going to talk about the plot because that's not like super interesting. They were just trying to get to another planet by raiding the alien base, the sister base of the first movie. It was called Romulus. Not the movie wasn't called Romulus, but the ship that they go into is called Romulus. And they were trying to go in and just kind of steal some pods so they can get to a planet that's better for them. And obviously, if we have a group of kids who want to better their lives, almost all of them are going to die because that's how it's... Wait, I'm just going to leave it there for spoiler reasons. I'm not going to say that. But it was pretty intense. I feel like by far the standout characters are the main girl and the robot dad joke guy. Like, I knew I was in for I'm a big fan of dad jokes. I love them a lot, which is really good because my boss says a lot of dad jokes. But I knew I was in for a good time whenever the movie started and the robot started doing the dad jokes. I was like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this character. I'm going to enjoy this movie, which is a pretty big deal because, like I said, I didn't like the Alien movies. I kind of went into it not expecting to hate it, but wanting to hate it, which is something I don't like to admit, but I'm not going to just straight up lie to you guys. That was just a true thing that's happened. And I really enjoyed when the robot like switched sides after they put the chip in his head. And it was super interesting. It didn't feel contrived in any way, like, oh, the robot's gone bad, obviously, because everyone knew that it was not the girl's fault. They had to do something to get out of that situation, but it was because of the chip in his head. It wasn't because of, oh, I'm blanking on his name. It's been 2 weeks. Damn it. I should have wrote down his name or at least Googled it. But he was great. The acting in it was great. I just really liked him. I liked how he switched from being like an antisocial, nervous person to just taking control and not even telling them what he was thinking whenever he put the chip in his head. Really great stuff. Very good actor. I didn't know any of the actors in this movie, actually, except for the guy who played Rook. And they all fucking killed it. Like, every single one of them, even the asshole kid who, well, was an asshole, but he did a really great job of pretending to be an asshole. Or, I mean, I guess... I don't know that he's not an asshole in real life, so he could have just been being himself, but it was good. It played well in the movie. One thing I thought that played really well in the movie was I thought all of it looked really good, and that was because a lot of the aliens and the little face huggers, they were practical mixed with CG elements, which really leads to the movie looking a lot better, because the first two movies were just purely practical, while the third one had some CG and stop motion elements into it. And I think the perfect mix, at least they found with a lot of movies, is a practical CG mix where they have it there and they act around it, but then they take that model and turn it into some sort of CG thing, or at least mix it with it so that it looks even more real. And they really killed it with that. I don't know if a lot of the xenomorphs, because there's a specific scene that I wanted to talk about, probably my favorite scene of the movie. I'm a big fan of Call of Duty Zombies. I like just sitting and spraying and killing hordes of zombies. I got a similar feeling in this movie. If you've seen the movie, you know where I'm going with this. If you haven't seen the movie, skip about 15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds ahead, because I want to talk about this. The scene where she holds down the gun and just fires at all of the xenomorphs is so satisfying, followed by like a genuinely really tense and enjoyable scene where her and the robot were flying through all of the xenomorph acid. It was really solid. Probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire Alien franchise, which again isn't a lot to go off of because I only like 3 of the movies, the first, the second, and the final one. I actually also heard that the director for Alien Earth, which is a TV show that's coming out, is really proud of it, and I want that to be good. Like, me saying that I don't like the franchise, well, I actually did say that I wanted this one to be bad, but I'm really happy it's not. I also hope Alien Earth is good because the director seems really into it. He said that it could be the next 10 years of his life, which is a really impressive statement. Because if you're saying that you want it to be the next 10 years of your life, then I guess you got to be into it or got to think it's good or something along those lines, which is awesome. If you've seen the movie or no spoilers, this is the moment that everyone has been... By the way, I'm sorry, I've been sniffling and talking in a groggy or deep rare voice. I'm sick, actually, so I went from wisdom teeth right into getting a cold. Yeah, Mediak is kind of thriving right now. We love to see it. If you've seen spoilers or if you've seen the movie, there's one moment of this film that everyone and their mom has been talking about because it's just like a normal good aliens movie up until the very end of the movie where they start mixing in that Prometheus shit, and it leads to one of the grossest scenes. And like, I'm one of the people that like don't really look away when gross things are happening on the movie because I'm a film major. Like, I know that the shit happening on the screen is fake, but there's one gory scene where a character is giving birth, and it is so just like viscerally disgusting that I actually had to turn away from the screen. I just was like, audibly in the theater, I was like, oh, fuck, and just had to like, because just even so much as the concept of what I was watching was so unbelievably disgusting to me that I was like, okay, I can't even be looking at the screen right now. Which then led into one of the most interesting alien designs in the entire franchise, which is like a human mixed with the engineer mixed with a xenomorph. It was so fucking weird. And then I found out that creature was practical. They took a guy who was like 7'6" and then wrapped him inside of this giant like latex thing, and that's just him. Like, it's just him inside of that suit. I think that's so cool. That scene itself was really interesting. All of the scene with like the little baby creature like walking around trying to figure out life was interesting. God, it was a really good movie. I kind of do really want to rewatch it. I think like a deeper video essay comparing Prey and Alien Romulus might be sometime on the docket within the next year or so. Yeah, I think the next, I don't know what theater movie I'm going to be reviewing next, but I know for a fact that for December, I'm going to do the Robert Edgers movies right now. So it's The Witch, The Northman, and, oh wait, usually I like to put them up on the thing, but I completely forgot I bought these discs. So it's The Northman and Lighthouse. I don't have the Witch because it's not one of my favorite movies. I still like it, but The Northman and Lighthouse is like in my top 10, both of them. So I want to do a big movie where I talk about all three of those movies. But yeah, I think Alien Romulus is probably the second best Alien movie. So it goes Alien, Alien Romulus, Aliens, and then no other Alien thing exists. Oh, I also really appreciated the Aliens Colonial Maroons. Oh my God, dude. If you guys can't tell, it is 8:40 a.m. I'm filming this before going to work. I really appreciated the Aliens Colonial Marines reference whenever they brought out the guns and he was like, oh yeah, the Colonial Marines used to use this. I was like, okay, I like that. That's a good reference. All right. Stay tuned. I have a lot of videos planned for the next couple weeks. This is going to be a very busy schedule for Mediak. It's actually been a very busy schedule for Mediak in general. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but it's been harder for me to put out podcasts and videos. But I'm not going to stop that because this is what I love. I love doing this. I think it's so fun to come together and talk about my ideas. And even more than that, my favorite part about uploading these videos is hearing what other people have to say and then talking with them about it. My favorite video on my channel, it's not the best video on my channel, but is the Bridgerton one, season 3, because of how many people commented and talked to me. Discussion is the best part of media, and that's what allows media to transcend from just something to entertain into something that can change lives. It's great. I hope I can do this for the rest of my life. I'm going to try to put in as much time as humanly possible over the next couple of weeks to try and get a stockpile of videos. I guess we'll see. I don't know. This turned into a bit of a rant about how little time I have in my schedule because I'm working like 11-hour shifts or something. I don't know. All right. Okay. See you guys. I hope you guys subscribed and enjoyed the video, and please like and comment a movie that you want me to review in the future. All right. See ya.